Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Project RSX, and boy, I got some news for y'all. Well, just want to give you an update on Project RSX, and things are not going well. It's been about 4 months since I decided to start the project, and I guess it's time for story time and tell you about what happened. So, how do I put this? I blew my head. It's got 186,000 miles on it, and unfortunately, something happened and I blew my head. So, I drive it every once in a while to work, and my dad normally drives the car. So I was driving it to work, and everything was fine. It's about a 25-mile commute. And, everything was running good. I got to work. It was on an off Friday, which I have every other Friday off. And so, so I get to work, everything's running good. Maybe on the way there, I hit VTEC maybe once or twice, just because, I'm merging on the highway and other stuff like that. And plus, it's also fun to hit VTEC. So driving into work, everything's fine. Come out that day and I start the car, and it starts to misfire a little bit, and I see the check engine light come on, and I'm like, okay. So I let it warm up. I turn off the car. I'm just looking around in the engine, seeing if anything's loose, any oil leaks or anything like that. I don't really see anything. And I get back in the car, and it's not doing it. So I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and drive home. And so I was about 3/4 of the way home, and the check engine light came on. I was driving on the freeway, didn't really hear it misfiring or anything like that. I pulled off kind of, and I'm just like, well, let me just stop by the nearest AutoZone by my house, so I can get him to hook up the machine and we can see what's going on. So I eventually get there. It's probably about 3 miles away. As soon as I get to like an idle, I can hear it misfire a little bit at the first light, and I'm like, okay, AutoZone's about a mile away. Let's go see what happens, right? So I get to AutoZone, right, and unfortunately, they pull the codes and everything, and it looks like the number 2 cylinder is misfiring. Give me a couple examples. It could be a spark plug, could be the actual ignition coil right there. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm at AutoZone, and I'm like, well, let's do this. I know I just had the plugs changed about 10,000 miles ago. I was like, okay, well, maybe the plugs, whatever. So I buy a new set of plugs, and then I buy another ignition and coil. It's not OEM or anything like that, but I'm just like, well, let's put it in there and see what happens, right? So I get home, take out all the plugs, put them all back in, torque them all normally and everything like that, and then I put the ignition pack coil in it, right? Start it up, don't really see anything, and I go drive for a little bit, and it starts to do it again. The check engine light comes on, I hear it misfiring again, and I'm like, oh, damn, must be something else, right? So I have a normal mechanic I go to. I take it over to him, and he looks and he's like, yeah, he does a compression test. Number 2 cylinder, when it's hot, is not doing the compression the way it should be. I think it's supposed to be about 120 or something like that. All the other ones were pretty standard. That one's running about 80. So he's like, yeah, I think maybe the head could be cracked, right? And he's like, and my mechanic, and he's been around for a really long time, so he recommends his brother to do the testing on the head and everything like that. And at this point, I have a good amount of money saved up. So I'm like, okay, well, if the head's cracked, I need to find somewhere to take it, because I really, at this point, I don't know what else to do. So I start looking at different shops and everything like that. And I head over to ASA Racing, which is down off Long Point. It's over in like the old Koreatown in Houston. And I look around, and that's one of the shops that I found that does like K20 stuff down here local in Houston. I saw some videos and stuff they had posted on their Instagram feed as well as Facebook. And I tried to look for some other stuff, but not really being in the car scene, everything's kind of word of mouth down here in Houston. So I really don't know. So I take it over to ASA, and they basically look at everything for me, and they give me some advice, and they say, yeah, it looks like your number 2 cylinder's head's cracked. And so here's the head. As you can see, it's been pulled, and yeah, so I'm gonna go over some pictures and everything on what they sent me back, so I can determine on what my next step would have been to do to get this bad boy fixed.
So here's those pictures I wanted to tell you all about and show you and everything, kind of what happened when I took it down to ASA. Hunt over there is, I guess, the owner of it and everything. So he, he had his mechanics and everything, and they ran some tests on it. Same compression test, pretty much found the same thing. There was a little bit of dip in the number 2 cylinder. He did some other tests. I don't know what all this stuff was he sent me, but he did some other tests. I guess they tested to see what else was going on. They really couldn't find anything, and then he, they have a lot more high-tech stuff over there, so they stuck a camera down there, and they wound up finding that there was a crack on the number 2 cylinder head, and and so my head was cracked. Looks like maybe someone had over-tightened the spark plug or something like that, or I don't know. But Hunt told me that he had never seen anything like that before, so I was like, oh, that's great. Well, it would happen to me. But then after that, they took off the head, everything like that. He told me he could find me a new head, a new K20 head to replace the old one, and that's kind of where we're at right here and right now.
Well, this sucks, man. My head's cracked. At least Hunt said he could get me a new head, so I'm gonna start from there, and we'll see what I want to actually end up doing. But guess what? This is a project build. Stuff's going to happen. Crap's going to happen. All I can say is, that's what I said. You can never plan on everything going the correct way that you want it to. But hey, this is episode 2, so I guess episode 3, we'll find out what happens. But thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video, make any comments y'all want. But hey, appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see y'all for episode 3. Thanks a lot.